was a shank. That's a 17-yard punt for Trevor Daniel. Colts get great field position, and they cash it in. Nyheim Hines taking it in for a touchdown, his second of the day on his 24th birthday. Colts take the lead. Now it gets even worse for Tennessee.
I'm telling you what, Daniels has had a rough night. Listen, special team players and kickers especially aren't people, Greeny.
TJ Carey carries it in. Colts take a 10-point lead. Now Titans trying to get it with a one-score game. Steven Gostkowski, you're kidding.
I tell you what, this is when it rains, it pours, and this is for the division. Turning directly into points. Jacoby Brissett comes back and he uses all that strength. I tell you what, it's getting tough in Tennessee, Greeny.
It is indeed. The Titans get doubled up at home on what was a rough night, 34-17. Indianapolis is your final. And the result has huge implications in the division. After week 9, ESPN's FPI gave the Titans over a 70% chance to win. Now these teams have played week 10, and that has flipped. The Colts now a 57% chance to take home the crown. And so we begin the questions here. And let me start, Ryan Clark, with you. As we watched it last night, I'm old enough to remember when we were talking about the Titans as a team that could wind up in the Super Bowl. What the heck has happened?
Listen, the Tennessee Titans need to get LifeLock because there was an identity theft last night. When you think of the Tennessee Titans, you think of being physical in the run game. You think of playing good defense. You think of being good on special teams. That's what a Mike Vrabel football team is supposed to be, but they weren't that. You think of a quarterback that makes all the efficient plays and protects the ball. We watched that happen with the Indianapolis Colts. So we saw the Tennessee Titans get beat at their own game. They couldn't stop the run, the short passing game for the Indianapolis Colts got rolling, and they did come up with some big stops on the goal line and some fourth down stops, but the Indianapolis Colts moved the ball up and down the field on the Tennessee Titans, and this is beginning to be a problem for this Mike Vrabel football team. They don't stop people. The only team that they've stopped is the Chicago Bears, but right now Bart, me, Nico, Brody, and Kim can get out there and stop the Chicago Bears. And so if you are the Tennessee Titans, if you're Mike Vrabel, you're getting to a critical point in this season, you have to turn things around, or you'll start to question whether or not you are as good as we thought you were, or even as you thought you were when you were 5-0.
For the record, Brody is Ninko's new puppy. I noticed you mentioned the dog and not me in the defense there. All right, no offense taken.
Yeah, because
Ninkovich, let me come to you. We just showed the Colts now a 57% chance of winning the division. These teams play each other again in 2 weeks. So who you got when it all finishes up here at the end of the season? Going to be Indy or Tennessee winning that division?
I'm going with Indianapolis. I just think that they're in an upward trajectory. You look at Tennessee, they started out hot, and look, they're fizzling out a little bit. They look to not have an identity. We understand they want to run the ball with Derrick Henry, but you can't win football games completing 15 passes with Ryan Tannehill, and you can't count on Derrick Henry to run for 200 yards a game. So they're going to have to get back to what they do best. That's pound the ball with Derrick Henry, hope that he can have a great game, and then play action pass with Ryan Tannehill. And they got to play defense, and they got to play special teams, because hats off to Raven Trone, the special teams coordinator for the Colts. They came out there, they pressured the punt team. They didn't have their starting punter out there. He shanks a punt. That's the swing in the game. Those 2 plays on special teams, the block punt for a touchdown, the shank punt, that's what turned this game around. So hats off to the Colts special teams unit. They actually came out to play. Tennessee, they're nowhere to be seen.
100% right. But by virtue of their fast start this year, Tennessee gave themselves a little wiggle room. So who you got, Tennessee or Indy in the long run?
I tell you what, I got Tennessee by a hair. I mean, yesterday was pivotal so they can pull it closer. But when I look at the remaining schedule, I look at the Colts. Yes, they play Tennessee again, but they have Green Bay, Pittsburgh, the Raiders, and they have Tennessee again. So I'm going to say that, the Tennessee Titans have a better opportunity. They have to shore up their special teams. I think they do that. I will watch the waiver wire, see if they can improve on the position.
Yeah, they've had a terrible season kicking, obviously. Yes. Gostkowski, going all the way back to the opener, has really struggled. And so that's where it begins on this Football Friday with an interesting game on Thursday night. But there are some very big games coming this weekend. Let's take a look at some of the biggest. The Bengals traveling to Pittsburgh, where despite not practicing this week and being on the reserve COVID list, the Steelers are preparing for Big Ben to suit up and play. Again, that presumes he will have one more negative test. The Bills and the Cardinals go head-to-head. They're budding superstar quarterbacks facing each other in Arizona. Both Josh Allen and Kyler Murray have notched 15 passing touchdowns and 5 rushing touchdowns this year. And then you got Tom Brady and the Bucs looking to bounce back against the Panthers, who will likely play without Christian McCaffrey. Here was Brady yesterday talking about how he handles terrible losses like the one they had on Sunday night.
You know, I think they all stick with you because you're competitive and you want to go out there and play your best every week, and you realize it's you're not a movie actor where you get 6 takes when it doesn't go right. Let me do that one over again. I messed that one up. Let's run that back. So, you're a football player and you're making split-second decisions, and you always wish, man, I made every split-second decision right, but that's just not the reality of the sport.
What an interesting way to put that. That was Ryan Clark. What did you think, and what do you think is going on right now for the Buccaneers and Brady?
Listen, the Buccaneers are in the most critical point of their season right now. The Buccaneers, I don't want to call it a must-win, but this is the biggest game that Tom Brady has had as the Buccaneer starting quarterback. They have to win. Last week was supposed to be the crowning moment. This is when we were supposed to say that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have arrived. They been in control of the NFC South, and they didn't even show up to the game. It wasn't close. It wasn't a nail. These great quarterbacks is going to make the great play at the end of the game to win. It was a shellacking. It was a stump out. It was a skull dragging. And when you have that type of game, how you rebound is important. And isn't this what we said Tom Brady does, right? He fixes teams. He galvanizes teams. The leadership makes sure they don't play bad back-to-back weeks. Well, they're at a situation where they're going to be on the road in the playoffs. This is a team that was supposed to be ascending. You get stumped out by division rivals. How will you respond? You have things going on in the media. Is there infighting? Is there a power struggle? Does Arians like Tom Brady? Is it about Mike Evans? Is it about Antonio Brown? So right now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have to be better. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have to win, and they have to show that this team is together moving forward, because if not, they won't have a chance to be where Tom Brady was supposed to bring them, which is a Super Bowl at home in Tampa Bay.
That's an important piece of this that you bring up. So, Kimberly, what are you hearing from inside there about the possibilities of some of these relationships, particularly with regard to Antonio Brown's arrival?
Yeah, I think it's easy to blame AB when chemistry is an issue, when offenses look bad. But from what I'm hearing, he has not been the issue. If anything, he has been putting in extra work, trying to get up to speed, trying to get in the playbook, trying to develop chemistry with Tom Brady. Somebody described it to me as he's going overload, which is what you want. And I think, unfortunately for AB, he's just going to be that piece where you wonder what's really going on behind the scenes. But keep in mind, they had issues before he got here. You talk about these losses. When Tom Brady does not have time to throw, look out. He is not comfortable. You talk about the offensive line. They haven't given him time. Mike Evans, where's that connection?
And I know that you, Bart Scott, are looking at someone, and it's not even one of the players.
Right, it's Bruce Arians, right? Because I believe it's a clash of philosophies. We know that Tom Brady performs better when it goes through the running game. He's all about play action. He's all about death by 1,000 paper cuts. But Bruce Arians, the narrative on Bruce Arians, I remember going against him in Pittsburgh, has always been that he wants to go for the big deep ball. He wants to go with the 7-step drops. That's not what Tom Brady does. 7-step drops exposes him because it's a lack of mobility within the pocket. So they have to settle down on what type of personnel group is the best personnel group for them. I think they need to lean more on Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones and set the play action up, for Tom Brady down the field. When you see him dropping back, it's all these 7-step drops, and that gives the defensive line the opportunity to come back and really attack him. Trying to have to figure out the chemistry. They need to settle, I believe, on the 2 tight end sets and go through the running game and let AB be a surplus.